Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and welcome back to my channel, The World of Knowledge with Hisham. And today we will be discussing about World War One. So let's get to the video. So we are going to divide our topic into two. The long-term reasons over here and the short-term reasons over here. The long-term reasons include imperialism, nationalism, and militarism. Now, what are these three? Imperialism. Now, imperialism is that one country sets up its empire on other foreign countries. Mostly those countries would be from Asia or Africa. Like British made its empire on the India, the whole subcontinent, and same like that. It wasn't just Britain that made its empire, but Germany, France, and Portuguese also made a whole lot of empire. So how did this was leading this to war? Because when they set up a colony, the other countries also thinking that nobody has just inhabited here, they will attack. But eventually there will be some Europeans over there, so there will be some discontent. Point number two, militarism. Now, the point of all this was that each country was building up an army, and Germany had the largest army that no one had seen. Why? Because Germany was much a bigger country than UK and France over here. And last but not the least, for our long-term causes, nationalism. Well, there's a spirit of patriotism in every person who thinks he is a patriot. But do remember, every single person claims that his country is the greatest and he will work for the benefit of his country. That is done. So this was a major leading role to the war. But what actually started the war? The short-term reason. What was this short-term reason? It was an assassination of the Duke of Austria-Hungary. Now, why was this person assassinated? Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife on his wedding anniversary, Austria-Hungary attacked Serbia and took one of its major cities, Sarajevo. It was a group of assassins, Black Hands. The whole organization was named as Black Hands. The six Black Hand assassins waited for 28 June 1914 for highlighting their cause by assassinating Archduke and his wife. Now, how were these two assassinated? So first they landed on the airport and they had a chauffeur-driven car. Now while they were driving, one of the gang members threw a bomb on them, which luckily exploded on the car behind them. Now the Archduke was very frightened, and instead of not going out and hiding in the same spot, he went out, but he did not attend the meetings. Instead, he went to the hospital, asked about the health of the injured. Now, if Archduke had just sheltered himself in his house for several days, several weeks, and safely escorted himself back to Austria-Hungary, then there would be no major war. But he did not, and he died. How? Because the chauffeur he was going with, he mistakenly took a wrong turn. One of the members of the gang had dispersed. An 18-year-old Gabriel Princeton. He was suffering from dysentery, but still he managed to stay on his feet and shoot the Archduke. Now, once the Archduke and his wife were dead, Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia for killing the Archduke. And because of this, Austria-Hungary attacked Serbia. And Russia, who has a deal to protect Serbia, attacks Austria-Hungary, and because of the whole Europe was dragged into a war. As you look at the picture below, it shows how the other countries had made alliances with each other. And because of these alliances, the Triple and the Triple Alliance, the whole of Europe would be dragged into a war. Italy didn't stick to the agreements it made before the war. Now, what it did in 1915, it had a future vision that the Triple Alliance would be losing, so it joined the Allies instead of the Axis. Axis is the Germans over here, and the Allies is the Britain, France, etc. Turkey also joined at the Axis side, and Bulgaria after 1915 also joined at the German side. So these names over here are the one team, and these names over here are the other team. Remember, USA joined after 1917. 1917, when one of their civilian ships was sunk by a U-boat from Germany. And just because of this, USA was also dragged into war. Before the war, USA was doing a work of supplying weapons to the countries except Germany. It had an armament agreement with Britain and the other allies. Many years before the war, in the 19th century, a German called Schlieffen actually made a plan because the Germans were expecting a major war for years, and they had to come up with a plan to defeat France before defeating the slow-moving Russia. Now they hadn't made a plan, and you can look over here. It's a very suitable plan at that time, because this plan did not work actually. Why did it not work? It didn't work because it forgot about trains and taxi cabs. Yes. Now why did I mention taxi cabs? The French used over 600 taxi cabs to ferry extra men into the war. This was a very contribution for the taxi drivers, and they were paid a lot. But it did some damage to Paris actually. Yes, the Paris gun, if you remember, one of the biggest artillery guns the world had seen by 20th century. Now why did not the Schlieffen plan did not work? Because of not only the transportation systems had been changed, there were a lot of advancements in other technologies as well. And there was a radar system also, so that's why Germany's Schlieffen plan did not work. You see Schlieffen is written over here, but why I'm saying is Schlieffen, even it has CH. The picture you see over here is the Schlieffen plan in reality. You can see it. Germans had just simply underestimated the Russians and Belgium, because the Germany's plan was to march its troops through Germany before going to France, cornering them from all sides. But what happened over here, you can see the contrast, both are over here, side by side. Now as you can see that that the Allies were keeping them both at bay. Now the Russians, on the other hand, which the Germans thought to be quite slow, wasn't slow, but actually rounded up, and the world war was stuck in a stalemate. German troops, because of this fear of being surrounded by both sides, had made trenches. Now what are trenches? Trenches are usually 7 meters below the ground level, and usually with a machine gun on top of them so that they can fire on the incoming soldiers. Now by seeing this, the Allies also made trenches opposite to them, and thus the war was stuck in a stalemate. Now after stuck in a stalemate, what the US soldiers and the Allies had done, they had Germany and its allies under complete siege. So there was no food coming in and out. The people were dying of starvation and much more, because the necessary equipment should be going to the soldiers, not the civilians, because they were not fighting and the soldiers were fighting, and thus Germany had given up. So let's read the rest of the next video, and make sure you subscribe this channel, hit the like button and share the video, because sharing is caring. And I hope you like my video. And bye bye.